Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 7 a.m.
Breaking overnight fears of retaliation after Israel carries out a major attack on Iran. What the U.S. is saying this morning about the new violence. Plus,
if you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at.
A strong warning from a local sheriff ahead of planned protests this weekend. All as controversy continues over the crackdown on illegal immigration.
and new overnight, an arrest after a woman is hit and killed while jogging. The suspect now locked up, charged with leaving the scene. Good morning on your Friday. It's 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormith. Trooper Steve, keeping an eye on those roads for you. And we do want to start with meteorologist Michelle Morgan on this busy Friday morning. She's in with Candace with a look at your forecast.
Like I need to fan you because
it's hot.
The weather's so hot.
Oh, I thought you meant that I'm hot.
I mean,
that too?
Yeah,
maybe.
Of course.
Okay.
You realize
You're beautiful.
If I was to say that, I'd be canceled.
No,
we
you
can
wouldn't.
agree. We can't be the first to
You
say
can't
it.
be the ones to say it.
That's
We can
right?
agree.
okay.
We
You
can acknowledge.
agree. Well,
Our
thank
gorgeous
you.
meteorologist.
Well, thank you. I
There we
appreciate
go.
that. Well, happy Friday to you all at home. Look at this sunrise here. Beautiful shot, Daytona Beach. Everything is quiet. I'm not tracking any rain, but I am tracking the warmth as well as the humidity. Now, temperatures are starting off at 76 degrees here. We'll see abundant sunshine. The humidity at 94%. Super humid day. Winds light out of the south at 3 miles per hour. For the rest of Central Florida, 76 in Oviedo, DeLand, 74 in Ocala. Good morning. We're at 73 in Wildwood and 76 degrees in Kissimmee. So your planning forecast for today, we'll see plenty of sunshine as we get closer to the 10 o'clock hour. We are looking at clouds slowly increasing. We'll see a daytime high of 93 degrees. And then we're looking at a 40% shot for showers and storms this afternoon. Doing any boating today, no advisories. Winds out of the southwest between 5 to 10 knots, but it'll pick up through the afternoon up to 15 knots and looking at a moderate chop there. So your weekend forecast looking fantastic. We're looking at some rain around, but it's Father's Day weekend. A lot will be going on. We'll talk more about that coming up in a bit, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Man, we just said it out loud a few times and it just all clicking. Michelle pointed it out. It is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So make sure you are paying attention. Michelle looked at me out there a little while ago. I go, oh, I didn't think about that. And then the full moon yesterday, and then this, the strawberry moon. Don't blame that on your bad driving, okay? So 528's looking good this morning. Express lanes are nice and clear, no issues out there. And the delays on I-4 are pretty much non-existent. It's just the routine stuff right by 535. Downtown, you guys look good. You're good along Orange Avenue as well. Champions Gate to downtown, a 30-minute drive. That's not bad. Yesterday, we were almost 30 minutes higher because of a minor crash. So just be careful. Earlier, a minor crash on Narcoossee in Lake Nona south of 417 has been cleared out. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Breaking overnight, Israel preparing for a counterattack after launching airstrikes against Iran. Right now, Israelis are rushing to stock up on food after the government's urgent warning.
Israeli hospitals also scrambling, preparing for the worst by moving patients and equipment underground. This morning, the Trump administration making it clear the United States was not involved in the strikes.
But this attack could still have major implications for the U.S. News 6 reporter Angie Casada has been monitoring the overnight developments. What's the latest?
Yeah, this is a major strike with global implications. Take a look. New video shows black smoke just taking over the skies there near Iran's main nuclear facility after an Israeli strike designed to cripple what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls a clear and present danger. Israel launched the surprise attack on Iran overnight, hitting multiple locations, including the country's main nuclear enrichment facility. Officials confirming the deaths of high-ranking military leaders, including the head of the Revolutionary Guard and the chief of staff. Israel is calling all of this violence preemptive as Iran moves closer and closer to having nuclear capability.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Iran has vowed to respond. The U.S. responding also. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying this was Israel acting alone and that we were not involved. We'll likely quickly feel the effects of all of this. Oil prices surged overnight while stocks tumbled over fears that this will just be the beginning of a bigger Mideast conflict. In studio, I'm Angie Casada, News 6.
And we'll have to wait and see. All right, Angie, thank you. Also breaking overnight, a big win for President Trump after a federal appeals court ruled he can keep control of troops on the ground in California. Of course, the president deployed thousands of members of the National Guard along with hundreds of Marines after days of violent protests, people taking to the streets, looting businesses, and going after police, all because they're not happy with Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. Now, California's Governor Gavin Newsom sued, and earlier in the day, a lower court had ruled that the president had until noon today to turn control of those National Guard troops back over to state officials. However, that decision by the appeals court blocks that, at least for now.
The Los Angeles Police Department, by the way, are fantastic people. They are trying to do the work that they've so bravely signed up to do to enforce the law, but they have been kneecapped by incompetent Democrat policies.
He's not a monarch, he is not a king, and he should stop acting like one.
The appeals court has set a hearing for arguments in the case, but that's not happening until next Tuesday.
And tensions over this whole issue are boiling over at times, with one U.S. senator even ending up in handcuffs yesterday.
Hands on your back.
If you let my hands go, I'd put behind my back.
All right, cool.
That's California Democrat Alex Padilla. He was detained by the Secret Service after interrupting a press conference being held by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, then refusing to leave. The whole thing drawing strong reaction from both sides.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers.
When they push law enforcement agents around, when they storm cabinet secretaries in a press conference, I think it is wildly inappropriate behavior, and I think it sets a terrible message and tone for the rest of the country.
Padilla was let go shortly after the tense confrontation. Law enforcement here in Central Florida, meantime, is preparing for possible protests this weekend. Events are planned in several cities tomorrow in what's being called No King's Day. It targets both the ongoing ICE raids and President Trump's military parade. Brevard County Sheriff, though, is warning while peaceful protests are fine, violence won't be tolerated.
If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
During yesterday's news conference, the state attorney general also announced Florida is now the first state in the U.S. to have an ICE agent stationed locally to help enforce federal immigration laws.
New this morning, the Highway Patrol has arrested a driver they say hit and killed a woman while she was out jogging and then just kept on driving. Jairo Espana is now in the Osceola County Jail. Here's some video that shows Wednesday's scene along Florida Parkway and Sprucewood Lane, close to Parkway Middle School. Troopers say the victim was hit in a crosswalk, and they also say that Espana was driving with a suspended license. He is in jail with no bond and should face a judge later today. In Seminole County, a mother is calling for justice as her 3-year-old daughter remains in a hospital bed after being hit by a car.
This morning, she wants the person responsible to come forward.
Somebody knows something. Just come forward so our family could get some justice for Harmony. That's all we want, just justice.
Lakeisha DeBose's 3-year-old daughter, Harmony, was hit by a car right outside her home in Sanford a week ago. Investigators say the driver immediately jumped out of a white Hyundai and ran off. Harmony remains in the hospital with a fractured skull and injuries to her spine and pelvic bone.
How's Harmony doing?
She's doing a little better. We just left the gym. She's pointing, she's saying, shaking her head yes and no.
Police say they've identified 2 persons of interest as the investigation continues.
Caught on camera, the intense moments in Flagler County when a woman decides to chase down a teenager in her car while he was on an e-bike. Witnesses saying they had no choice but to intervene after
there was this lady trying to hit me. It was really scary because I looked back at the headlights. I'm like, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, drove up on a sidewalk there. 14-year-old Gage Ellis handed this video to deputies. He says his electric bike was going about 20 miles an hour. Deputies say 65-year-old Julia Kaltoff was the woman behind the wheel. She told them she was angry at the teen for riding too fast and that she wanted to find out where he lived in order to speak to his parents. Kalthoff was arrested on aggravated assault and reckless driving charges. Gage's mother says this all could have been avoided.
If she would have followed him at a safe distance, not on a bike path, and then, came to the door and talked to me, we could have talked about it to avoid all this.
And she went on to say once her son is over the traumatic experience, she's going to start going with him to ease him back into writing.
All right, let's turn to your weather now with meteorologist Michelle Morgan in for Candace this morning. And a lot of folks making plans, maybe for Father's Day over the weekend. And are they expecting any rain? What are the temps looking like?
We are looking at some rain both Saturday and Sunday, Crystal, but it's going to be a hot weekend. Temperatures in the lower 90s. If you haven't been outside yet, it is humid. And the humidity is going to stick around this weekend, making things feel even hotter. But before we get to that, check out your current temperatures here across the metro area. Kissimmee, Citrus Ridge, Sanford, good morning to you all at 75. Bithlo at 76. Apopka also at 76. And Leesburg coming in at 79 degrees. So it's a warm start to our day. We're in the lower 80s by 9, mix of sunshine and clouds. By 11, we're at 85. In the lower 90s by 1 with a 30% chance for isolated showers, and then we're at a 40% chance as we wrap up the afternoon. So I would take the umbrella with me just in case. And here's a look at your haircast for today. Because of the high humidity, tie that hair up. It's going to be all over the place as we go through the afternoon hours. And here's what I'm talking about with the humidity. Even though temperatures are in the lower 90s, it is going to put our feels like temperatures in the triple digits. There are no warnings in effect, but it is important to know that it could feel like 107 in Wildwood, 106 in the Villages, and then 101 in Kissimmee, Orlando, and Sanford. So make sure you're staying hydrated. So we'll talk more about this forecast. We'll talk about the timing coming up in a bit, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Way up on the north end here, I-75 and the Florida Turnpike. If you're maybe coming in from Ocala, headed to Ocala, or just going somewhere else other than here, you're looking pretty good up on the north end out there. The interchange outside Wildwood, nice and clear. If you're headed southbound along the Florida Turnpike, cruising past Okahumpka, clear in US 27. No delay even as you begin to approach Claremont, Oakland, West State Road 50, nice and smooth this morning. Whoop, we're tracking something here. As you're continuing southbound, this is going to be right at Turkey Lake. Looks like we're getting a quick slowdown. Give me a minute. When I see me again, I'll get some info for you. Guys, back to you.
All right, we'll check back in. Thank you, Steve. 7:12 now coming up. A former Tampa Bay Buccaneer is now facing an attempted murder charge. Details on those allegations.
Plus, a reminder to never leave food in the outside bin where this black bear was caught lurking.
You're watching News 6 Mornings on this Friday. We'll be right back. New this morning, an arrest warrant has now been issued for former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Antonio Brown on a charge of attempted murder. The warrant stems from a fight that allegedly took place between the former NFL player and several other individuals shortly after a celebrity boxing event that happened in Miami last month. Brown played 2 seasons for Tampa Bay before walking off the field in the middle of the game back in 2021, which ended his career. The warrant calls for Brown to post a $10,000 bond and then remain under house arrest.
Disney and Universal in Central Florida, you know, they're fierce competitors. But now the two entertainment giants are finding common ground in a fight against artificial intelligence. And it could have a direct impact on what you can do online. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is live. And Stephanie, the two companies are now fighting together against what they call piracy and plagiarism.
Yeah, Crystal, from Minions to Dragons to Darth Vader to Mickey Mouse. We know both of these companies have a nearly limitless supply of characters, heavily copyrighted characters. However, AI programs like Midjourney often use these characters to create new images like these ones you're seeing here. Now Disney and Universal are fighting back.
Just about every ride at Universal's theme parks is based on a heavily copyrighted character. The same goes for Disney. Those characters have a value well beyond rides and attractions. Now Disney and Universal are alleging that AI is infringing on its rights by using these characters to create endless unauthorized images.
They're the largest intellectual property holders in the world, the two of them.
Kristen Roberts is the founder and managing attorney of Tristel Law. An expert in intellectual property law, Roberts calls the Disney-Universal lawsuit groundbreaking.
While they may not always agree with each other and they may be rivals when it comes to their theme parks and their movies and things like that, when it comes to this issue, the intellectual property being used without authorization to train and reproduce what belongs to them, you better believe they're going to be on the same team here.
For years, AI companies have argued that since their programs sample from thousands, if not millions of articles and images to write paragraphs or create pictures and videos, that they are covered under what is known as fair use, since the copyrighted sources are publicly available. There are laws on the books dealing with copyright infringement and theft, but almost nothing when it comes to sampling and how much is too much.
I don't think that these AI companies want to have to go through the process of having to license like we do with music. Like Spotify has to pay licensing fees in order to play music. We could do something similar, like some kind of compulsory license. The problem is we need Congress to act.
Now, Midjourney has not responded to the lawsuit from Disney and Universal. There is another case involving Getty Images. They're suing an AI company in London over what they say is copyright infringement. Now, both of these cases could reshape how we use AI. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Stephanie Rodriguez reporting live. We appreciate it. The UCF Knights football team has been bouncing for years now, and now the stadium name will reflect that. Yesterday, the school's Board of Trustees unanimously approved a name change from FBC Mortgage Stadium to Acrisure Bounce House.
That's a ring to it.
I like Bounce House in the name, though. The decision follows Orlando-based FBC Mortgage's acquisition by Acrisure last year. The new name will go into effect July 1st.
Look, if you have the money, they will call it whatever you want it to.
You ain't kidding.
Well, take a look at this. A bear caught on surveillance video in a Seminole County neighborhood. The person who sent the video says a contractor is to blame. If you look closely there, you'll see a styrofoam container on the ground. Looks like someone left their food out. Those who lived in the area know it attracts some unwanted visitors. It's not a big surprise, though. That home is located in the Sable Point neighborhood. That's near the Wekiva Preserve.
Yeah.
It's like seeing a gator down in
the
Everglades.
Yeah, right. They're out. That's what I was saying. Like, if it wasn't for Ring doorbell cameras.
If you leave the crumbs, they will come.
They sure were. And a shout out to my 4Runner brother out there. Look, nice little vehicle in the driveway. Anyway. I just want to shout that out.
You've become a fan of that truck. You definitely have.
That's my third one. I have a, anyway, let's not go into that. Let's talk about the weather.
Okay, go ahead, Justin.
It's not an ad. This is not an ad. Not an ad.
It's just a want.
Well, listen, I'm not getting rid of my 4Runner for a while. Again, let's not stay on it. Let's go to weather.
I like it, though. I like
Hopefully it's air conditioning works in this 4Runner,
right?
Yeah,
make sure that it's hot. You'll definitely need the air conditioner today. If you are planning on being outside, Crystal giggles, man. They be getting me. We are looking at another hot day ahead with the humidity. It is going to feel even hotter in the triple digits. Taking you outside, Daytona Beach, gorgeous shot. My goodness. If you are planning a beach day today, here's what you need to know. Moderate rip current risk. Winds will pick up to 15 miles per hour out of the south and southeast. So because of the direction of the winds, it's going to increase the humidity. So it's going to be muggy out there, and then a few showers around as we head into the afternoon hours. Now we're at 76 degrees at the moment, humidity 94%. Southerly winds at 3 miles per hour. And again, nice start to the day. Here's what you need to know. Now, scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible as we go through the afternoon hours. Morning will remain dry, but the greatest coverage will be along the west I-75. Again, that's been the sweet spot for the past couple of days because the East Coast sea breeze has been taken over. Humidity high, heat index values will be between 100 and 107 degrees. And today's Friday, the 13th. Next Friday, the 20th, is the official start to summer. Even though it has been feeling like summer, it will be officially in that season, June 20th. Satellite and radar imagery, very quiet here across the peninsula. We have a few showers and storms hanging offshore over the Gulf. But as we go through the afternoon, most of the showers and storms will be sea breeze driven. Temperatures 75 in Citrus Ridge, 79 in Leesburg, Bithlo 76, and Kissimmee 77 degrees. Also, if you are heading out to the theme parks today, make sure you're packing water. It's going to be very hot outside, and I would bring a poncho just in case. Some showers are possible in that area. Day planner as we go through the next several hours. By 11, 85, partly cloudy skies, 90 by 1 with a 30% chance for showers, and then a 40% with daytime highs in the lower 90s. Boating forecast looking fantastic. If you're heading out doing some fishing, just going boating, we have those winds out of the southwest right now between 5 to 10 knots, picking up to 15 knots, moderate chop, and there are no advisories in place along the Atlantic side. Now your highs and feels like Leesburg 92 feeling like 101, Wildwood 93 feeling like 107, New Smyrna Beach 88 feeling like 98 degrees. So your clouds and rain forecast keeping things dry through the morning. By 2, isolated light showers popping up across the metro area. As we get things going, we'll see some more showers, some embedded thunderstorms producing heavy rain at times, but most of the shower and storm activity, as I mentioned, along I-75, getting heavy in a few locations, lasting into tonight. Overnight hours looking nice and dry. Now, there is an excessive rainfall marginal risk for, we're looking at Marion, Sumter, parts of Lake, 1 to 2 inches possible, locally higher amounts certainly possible, some low-lying flooding. We could see some of that. 7-day, 93, 40% chance, 93 tomorrow, also 40% chance. Father's Day on Sunday with showers around, hot and humid. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
I'm not sure what is taking place out here, but DOT cam showing we're almost at a standstill. Florida Turnpike southbound out by Turkey Lake Service Plaza. You're going to clear the 408. And you're going to get on those brakes, and everything's locking down right now. I'm not sure what is the situation, but it's right here at Turkey Lake. So as you're approaching it southbound here, just be prepared. I'd detour you, but there'd be an hour and a half to get you around this. So FHP does not currently have anything on their call screen. So hopefully, highly doubtful that they'll put something out letting us know what is going on. But just be careful as you're going to continue to head there. Our other roadways, they look just fine this morning. Give us a few minutes and we'll probably get something. Guys, back to you.
Good opportunity to grab that donut, that coffee, because you'll be sitting in traffic for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, it could be the world's slowest pursuit.
At the bottom of the hour, we're going to take a look at a police chase that took more than an hour. Plus.
From celebrating an Indian rhino's birthday to a wine stroll in downtown Claremont. Those are just a few things of my 6 things to do this weekend across Central Florida. My full list coming up. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan at the Central Florida Zoo, where PJ the rhino will be celebrating his birthday in style. Guests can visit on Saturday to join in on all the festivities.
PJ is our resident greater one-horned rhinoceros, and he's celebrating his 14th birthday, and we thought it'd be fun to invite our guests here to the zoo wearing their pajamas, their PJs, to celebrate that birthday with us. If you're wearing pajamas or any rhino attire, you will get $4 off of your admission.
Also at the zoo, bring your flashlights for a night hike. Experience nocturnal animals and discover what the zoo is like after dark. The fun starts at 7:30 p.m. Celebrate culture, history, and unity at the Juneteenth Festival this Saturday from noon to 4 at the Kissimmee Civic Center. The Downtown Claremont Wine Stroll happens Saturday with over 20 local businesses taking part. Sampling starts at 6:30 p.m. Bring your special pup out to Old Town's Wagon Weekend, a fun dog festival happening in Kissimmee from 11 a.m. through 3. The International Film Festival starts Wednesday at UCF Downtown Campus. Filmmakers and fans from around the world will be there. In Sanford, meteorologist Michelle Morgan, News 6.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
A good Friday morning, everyone. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. It's a warm and muggy start to our day. Upper 70s here across Central Florida, Kissimmee 77, Orlando 79, and 76 degrees in Apopka. I'm not tracking any rain. It is a dry start, but rain chances slowly going up to 30% around 1, 40% this afternoon with a daytime high of 93 degrees. With the high humidity, it's going to feel like the triple digits, so make sure you're staying hydrated. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Major delays southbound along the Florida Turnpike for about 3 miles right now. We've seen this truck starting to move. This pickup truck or that semi truck was sitting right here about 15 minutes ago. So southbound Turnpike out by Turkey Lake Service Plaza, all your lanes are almost coming to a complete standstill out here. There's no crash listed on FHP's website, so we're trying to figure out what's going on, but we are standstill from 408 down towards the Turkey Lake Service Plaza. The news continues next. Remember, get updates on any of our big stories anytime you want over at clickorlando.com.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
Time is now 7:30 on your Friday.
Let's get a check of our top stories. Breaking overnight, Israel has launched a massive strike on Iran. The targets were military and nuclear strikes, and it's believed several top Iranian officials were killed. The U.S. says it was not involved in this.
The Highway Patrol says it has arrested the driver who hit and killed a woman who was out jogging. Jairo Espana was booked last night, just one day after the victim was found on Florida Parkway near Kissimmee.
And an emotional tribute last night to the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. The annual remembrance ceremony was held to mark 9 years since the rampage. Meantime, private tours inside the club are set to continue today for family members of the victims.
Turning now to the weather. You know, it is Friday the 13th, and if you're into all that, you're going to feel it with the humidity, right,
Yeah.
Michelle?
You can cut that humidity with a knife out there. It's so
can.
thick. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan in for Candace taking a look at it.
Yeah, you know, I've been checking on all of these cameras, and you could just clearly see the haze out in the distance. That's just how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So we're starting off humid, we're starting off warm, but it is a gorgeous shot here out in Daytona Beach. The water looks inviting. Also, I just checked the water temperatures for today, upper 70s and lower 80s. So super comfortable if you are heading out to the beach. But right now we're at 76 degrees, humidity at 94%, and we have winds out of the south at 3 miles per hour. For the rest of Central Florida, Wildwood, good morning to you at 73, 76 in Zellwood, 77 in Orlando, and Melbourne, Mico, you're starting off at 78 degrees. So here's a look at my hour-by-hour forecast featuring my pet of the hour. This is Kramer.
That's a great name for him.
This is Kramer, everyone. He is super adorable, and he is just enjoying the day. This is how I look when I wake up, by the way. Got the hair all over the place. Also, because of the humidity, this is how your hair is going to look. So make sure you're tying it up. We'll take a look at that hair forecast coming up in a bit. Anyways, here's a look at the roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Crystal, did he say he looked like he touched electrical? Yeah, that'd be a fried chicken. If that was the case, he wouldn't be hanging out. If that was the case, we'd be some hot sauce. Southbound Turnpike, we are very slow this morning. Please be careful between Turkey Lake Service Plaza and kind of out by 408 there, bumper to bumper right now. And look at that, it's increasing up towards State Road 429. I'm worried of a secondary incident out here because of this. So please, if you live out in the Winter Garden, Ocoee area, and you're getting ready to hit this, just understand you're going to have some issues southbound this morning. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Well, breaking overnight, intense escalation in the Middle East after Israel launches airstrikes into Iran.
Yeah, we're told they targeted its nuclear facilities and research scientists. And we're now getting a new look at some new images out of Iran's capital. You can see the aftermath of those buildings damaged, streets in ruins as well. News 6's Angie Casada following the latest live in studio now. And Angie, this attack marks a major turn. A lot of people wondering what could come next.
Yeah, Justin, the strike is being called one of the most aggressive military moves in decades. Take a look. These are the latest images out of Iran, showing flames and smoke after Israel targeted several military and nuclear sites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is calling this a preemptive move, saying Iran was continuing to enrich uranium, putting them closer to having a nuclear weapon, something that couldn't be allowed to happen.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
200 Israeli warplanes were involved in the attacks that killed 3 Iranian generals and top nuclear scientists. As for the U.S., the White House said the Israeli strikes were unilateral without any American involvement. Secretary of State Marco Rubio putting out a statement saying, quote, "Our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. We're also monitoring for any signs of retaliation from Iran. Top Iranian leaders have warned it will be severe." In studio, Angie Casada, News 6.
Angie, thanks. Honoring the 49 9 years after the Pulse nightclub shooting, an emotional ceremony was held last night. All as survivors and family members get to step inside the club for the very first time. And those visits are not over yet, with stops planned both today and tomorrow. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live at Pulse this morning. You were there since Wednesday. You know, these visits have been very emotional for these family members.
Oh, yes. From those we heard from, just stepping past this wall here behind me had a profound impact. Those visits continued all the way up until the city's memorial service yesterday, which was about a mile from here at First United Methodist Church.
The community coming together to honor each of the 49 lives lost in the Pulse nightclub shooting and mark 9 years since the tragedy.
And my brother, and forever my best friend, Christopher Joseph Sanfelice.
The tributes, a painful reminder of the lives cut far too short, and this year, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer thanked a committee for helping design a permanent memorial.
The design they have helped to develop symbolizes peace, remembrance, hope, and healing.
At Pulse, groups of survivors and family members were able to go inside for a second day to reflect on their loss.
All the memories of that day just flushed, they kind of like rushed through.
Lali Santiago Leon described what it was like to stand in the spot where her cousin was killed.
I will say there was a sense of calm. I know that may sound macabre to some, but to touch it and just to say a prayer.
We also spoke to survivors who didn't want to go back inside. Joshua Hernandez says the scars, both physical and emotional, are too much for him to return.
And I want to close this chapter of my life because I want to keep going with my life.
The city says they anticipated there would be some like Hernandez too overwhelmed to step inside. Now, we're told that 59 people visited this site yesterday, and those walkthroughs continue today and tomorrow. For now, reporting live in Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thanks. This morning, police in Titusville are expected to release the body camera video of a deadly police shooting that's been at the center of months of controversy. Trimarie Charles died back in February after officers say he reached for a gun, then charged at police during a call near Robbins Avenue. The case sparked backlash from Charles's family and some members of the community who questioned the officer's account of what happened. Just this week, though, the FDLE ruled the use of deadly force was justified. We know Charles's mother got to see the body camera video first during a meeting with police yesterday. We reached out to speak with her, but never heard back.
We are live outside the Lake County Jail where suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez remains locked up. He has been there for more than a week now, being held on a $1 million bond. Lopez is accused in a major racketeering case tied to an illegal gambling operation. And this morning, some new records reveal deputies were called to that suspected casino dozens of times, long before Lopez was even arrested. We're talking years of 911 calls, reports of drugs, armed robberies, even shootings. Defense attorney Mark Nejame says that this wasn't a hidden operation and claims law enforcement, including Lopez, simply looked the other way.
Leadership leads, and if it stinks from the top, it falls all the way to the bottom.
Nejame tells us he expects even more names to surface as this case unfolds. Right now, 4 others are charged alongside Lopez, but more arrests could be coming.
The mayor of Palm Bay says the city is racing to clean up a massive sewage spill after 3 million gallons of spilled out near Turkey Creek this week. The city says raw sewage leaked from a cracked 20-inch pipe on Claremont Street. Right now, crews say they recovered about 2 million gallons, but 1 million still made it into Turkey Creek, contaminating the waterway.
Every Palm Bayer knows that this sanctuary is important not only to our environment, but to each and every animal and every infrastructure environmentally that's in that Turkey Creek sanctuary.
The city does say drinking water is safe, but as of now has not given a specific date when all of the contamination is expected to be removed.
Another setback for the Axiom 4 launch. This time, a leak on the International Space Station is cause for the delay. NASA says there's a pressure leak in a Russian module on the ISS. The crew on board is safe, but the Axiom 4 launch is delayed while experts investigate this. It is the 3rd delay this week after bad weather and a Falcon 9 oxygen leak. SpaceX completed a static fire test yesterday, but at this point, no new launch date has been set. We'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, SpaceX is set to launch 23 additional Starlink satellites into orbit this morning from Cape Canaveral. Liftoff targeted for 11:21 a.m. with backup windows through Saturday. If it happens, we're going to bring that to you live on air and on clickorlando.com. All right, let's get you to the weather. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan is in for Candace. Any issue with an 11:21 launch this morning?
No, I don't think so. The weather is just fine here. I mean, winds are nice and light. You can see right behind me, we're looking at plenty of sunshine, and I'm not expecting rain until later on this afternoon. So it should be good for the launch weather-wise. But before you head out the door, here's what we're looking at. Live look outside here in downtown Orlando. Gorgeous, but you can see it's a bit hazy out in the distance. The humidity is high, 94%. You will definitely feel it through today. 77, winds out of the east at 6 miles per hour. Now, temperatures here across Central Florida, Palm Coast, the Villages, starting off at 76, 79 in Titusville. Good morning to you, and 78 in Melbourne. So your day planner staying dry through the morning. Rain chances going up slightly to 30% around 1. And we're looking at a few isolated showers as we go through the early afternoon hours. Then rain chances going up to 40%. Scattered, a few downpours are possible. But it is going to be a hot day with highs in the lower 90s across our inland spots, feeling like the triple digits. And then along the coastline, we're looking at lower 90s in a few spots, but really upper 80s, feeling like the middle to upper 90s. If you are planning a beach day today, we're looking at a moderate rip current risk. Just check the water temperatures out on the Atlantic side. Upper 70s, the Gulf, lower 80s. So we are looking at comfortable conditions, and then rain chances are much lower along our coastline. So just keep that in mind for today. The UV index will be relatively high this afternoon, so make sure you are lathering up with that sunscreen. And this weekend, it is Father's Day weekend. There's so many things to do across Central Florida. If you're planning on doing anything, especially outdoors, make sure you're staying hydrated because the humidity is going to stick around. And then we are looking at those rain chances increasing to 40% both Saturday and Sunday. So of course, we'll take a look at the timing and all of that coming up in my full forecast. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
All right, I used Orange County Fire's website because they've got the information. Southbound along the Turnpike 265, we are so slow right now from before 429 down towards I-4. So you're going to even clear the Turkey Lake Service Plaza. So very slow here. You can see those cars kind of moving over to the shoulder. Don't do that. Just stay in your lane. And then this is way further south here, just north of I-4. It is a vehicle fire that's blocking 3 of your left travel lanes out here just before the I-4 exit, causing some major problems. So plan ahead. The delays are now even affecting State Road 429 in the northbound area. And if you live out in Winter Garden, you already know this northbound area, soup sandwich. Yesterday out on patrol, we were driving around watching plenty of bad drivers running red lights out here at Simpson and Boggy Creek. Head over to clickorlando.com. You can watch how I kind of set up the camera, and we were just calling people out all morning there. I just wish I could mail tickets out. Today, we are going to hit the roadway. I've been trying to determine where we're going to go today. We're going to go cruise around Windermere. It's been a long time since I've been out there. There are police departments out there as well. They're a full functioning city. Nice drive today at 10 o'clock. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. An Air India jet slams into a neighborhood just minutes after takeoff.
Coming up, what we're learning about those on board and the growing questions about what caused the Boeing 787 to go down. Plus,
Orlando has changed so much over the past 20 years, and I've had the honor of being in the middle of it.
A longtime Orlando City Commissioner hanging up his hat, how Robert Stewart is reflecting on his past 2 decades in office. It's the deadliest commercial jet crash in more than a decade. An Air India flight explodes. This video, incredible, after crashing into a medical school campus just moments after takeoff. This happened in the city of Ahmedabad. The Boeing Dreamliner 787 headed to London, 242 people on board. Only one person survived. A man in seat 11A somehow made it out. The impact destroyed several buildings near the airport, including a complex where medical students lived. This morning, crews are still digging through debris as families wait for answers.
We are going to do a fair and thorough investigation. We are not going to spare anyone. We are not going to leave any stone unturned.
Now, this is the first crash of a Dreamliner since entering service in 2011. More than 1,100 Dreamliners are in service, and airlines have nearly 1,000 more on order. Boeing says it's assisting with this investigation.
It's incredible that one person survived that. A longtime Orlando City Commissioner calling it a career. Robert Stewart is retiring after more than 20 years representing District 3. That includes College Park, Rosemont, and Baldwin Park. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell sat down with Stewart to talk about what's still in the works and the biggest challenges ahead.
Well, citywide, the biggest change is probably Sunrail and our venues in downtown.
Orlando City Commissioner Robert Stewart has a lot to reflect on after 2 decades in office. While venues like the Performing Arts Center and the Kia Center did not exist when he first took office, entire communities like Baldwin Park and Lake Nona were just beginning.
In the same time, that's all that's happened, I-4 gets done. So that becomes a driver in what's happening.
Another driver, 12 business districts identified during the Great Recession with the goal of creating unique main streets in various neighborhoods and boosting traffic to small businesses.
And the result has been, I would say, billions of dollars of other investments that's happened in these things with hospitals and schools and universities.
When his term officially ends in January, several projects he's worked on will still be in progress, including a revamp of Edgewater Drive in College Park, upgrades at Dubstrad Golf Course, and improvements at Lake Fairview Park.
A lot has changed over the past 20 years. What are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is watching neighborhoods and communities get engaged and stay engaged.
Any regrets?
I regret I'm not 10 years younger.
Would you run again?
I don't think so. When I leave office, I'll be 72. And our community's changing. It needs to have somebody who's younger.
Lisa Bell, News 6.
He has seen the entire community just transform. Already about half a dozen people have filed to run for a seat with the election scheduled for this November.
Police in South Carolina say this chase was so slow you could have walked faster. You got to take a look at this video. It's incredible. Officers in North Charleston spotted an excavator rolling down the road under, quote, suspicious circumstances. Probably just, being on a thoroughfare like that. They tried to stop it. The driver took off, though, at a top speed of 3 miles an hour. The chase crawled through North Charleston. The pursuit lasted more than an hour. Eventually, the excavator lost steam, and they caught up to it, and the driver was taken into custody.
We wonder why construction takes so long. And
what are you doing?
Yeah, there it
What
is,
are you
kind of
doing?
thing. Wonder what his blood level toxicology comes back
That's
at.
true. I don't know if that person
Maybe he felt like he was going fast.
Yeah,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
I'm flying. They can't keep up with me.
That was good.
You
That
gotta
was good.
stay off the, Anyway, let's talk to meteorologist Michelle Morgan about the weather.
I can't keep up with the humidity.
No.
Yeah, it's
My
hard. It's
hair's
impossible.
just,
You just gotta let it go.
Yeah, you just gotta let it go.
Let her go.
Yes.
Put it in a bun.
Yeah, put it in a bun. So today
just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Be like Nike, just do it. We are looking at a hot and humid day across central Florida, showers and thunderstorms popping up this afternoon. But once again, the greater coverage for the wet weather will be along I-75. That East Coast sea breeze is going to win out and is going to push most of the shower and storm activity along that area as we wrap up the afternoon heading into the evening. The humidity will keep our heat index values between 100 and 107 degrees across central Florida. So that is dangerous, even though no warnings or watches are in effect for the heat. You want to make sure you're paying attention to your body, drinking plenty of water, taking frequent breaks if you're working outside, because heat stress is a thing. Also, we are officially 1 week away from the start of summer, even though it's been feeling like summer. So we are going to keep things hot today also as we head into the weekend. 77 degrees in downtown Orlando. This is from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. Humidity at 94%. Winds out of the east at 6 miles per hour, and winds will pick up slightly as we go through the afternoon between 10 to 15 and remaining out of the southeast. Now temperatures, Ocala 74, good morning. Kissimmee 76 as we head to Brevard County. Melbourne 78, 74 in Cape Canaveral. Daytona Beach, good morning to you at 76. Now your day planner looking fantastic. We're going to be dry through the morning, a mix of sunshine and clouds, 85 degrees by 8, looking at by 11, and then we're looking at 90 degrees around 1, and then rain chances going up to 40%. So just keep the umbrella with you just in case. Highs and feels like temperatures indicated in the red here. So even though Orlando will be at 93 this afternoon, it'll feel like 101. Wildwood 93 feeling like 107, and the Villages 93 feeling like 106. So looking at some hot stuff there. Clouds and rain forecast. Fast forwarding the time by 2. Few isolated showers possible here, light in nature, and then as we fast forward things here around 4, continuing to see the sea breezes picking up those showers and thunderstorms, and then around 7, 8, most of the shower and storm activity now shifting to the west, heavy in a few locations, especially along that I-75 area. So we're looking at Sumter County, parts of Marion and Lake County getting in on that heavy rain. Light showers are expected to persist as we go through the overnight hours, and then drier conditions heading into your Saturday morning. If you are planning a beach day today, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be hot, humid. The UV index will be extreme. So don't forget the sunscreen if you're planning on doing that. And we are looking at a moderate rip current risk. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast for today and tomorrow. 93, 40% chance for rain. On Sunday is Father's Day, also 93, 40% chance for rain. As we go into the weekend here, rain chance is steady between 40 to 50% with temperatures in the middle 90s. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
We are super slow southbound along the Florida Turnpike, State Road 91, but it does look like traffic's picking up a little bit. DOT signs are showing 2 right lanes blocked just before I-4. If you're traveling southbound, northbound lanes are not affected by this at all. There is a vehicle fire that is further south out here, and you can see as you continue southbound, it's real slow from 429 down towards the I-4 area. So just be careful. Again, a vehicle fire in this area is not a crash. So once they clear this out, we'll be good to go. Send it back to you.
Thank you, Steve. New body camera video capturing the aftermath of a shark bite on a Florida beach. The latest on the 9-year-old victim's condition. That's next. Newly released body camera video shows the chaos just moments after a 9-year-old girl was bitten by a shark at a Southwest Florida beach.
I look over because I don't know if I heard a yell or what, but she went like that, and I could see her hand hanging.
Oh, just awful. That's the girl's mother right there. That's Nadia Lindell. She described the moment she realized her daughter Leah was in trouble. She was snorkeling in some shallow water off Boca Grande when witnesses say an 8-foot shark bit her hand, nearly taking it off clean.
So it was a big shark, like 8 feet. I would say like 8 feet.
Leah was flown to Tampa General. Her family says she is stable, and get this, surgeons were able to save her hand.
That's good to hear.
Wow.
Geez, that recovery is going to be wild.
Yes, it will.
Oh, One Heart Food Pantry is pushing forward, continuing to feed families after a truck just crashed through the front door. It happened about 4 months ago. The wreck wiped out thousands of pounds of food and cut off donations, but the pantry is still providing meals, with each dollar donated feeding 8 people in need.
We're here to love one person at a time that makes their way to One Heart, and that's including the guy that accidentally hit us.
All 4 people who were injured in the crash are now okay. The new door is expected to be installed soon. Michelle?
And we are looking at a hot and humid day. 40% chance for showers and storms. It is Father's Day weekend, so if you have any plans, just make sure you're drinking plenty of water, especially if you're being outside, and just have the rain gear nearby. 40% chance for scattered rain through the afternoon hours. We keep the temperatures around 94, 95 heading into the upcoming work week. Rain chances between 40 to 50%. And today we are officially 1 week away from the start of summer, which is on June 20th.
Well, it showed up early.
It,
I'll tell you that right now. It's knocking on the door. All right, guys, things looking good out here across Central Florida, except the Florida Turnpike for about a 4-mile stretch there from 429 down to I-4. We're bumper to bumper. 2 right lanes blocked. How do I know it? Because the sign says it right there before I-4. So just be careful. Increase your following distance. There's a vehicle fire. Hopefully they'll clear it out soon. That's it.
What a mess.
Let's have a good Friday.
Yes, we will. All right, thank you, Steve, and thank you for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Friday the 13th.
Be safe, guys.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
A good Friday morning, everyone. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. It is a muggy start to our morning across Central Florida. If you haven't been outside, plenty of sunshine, 80 degrees in Orlando, and we're looking at the winds out of the southeast at 7 miles per hour. For the rest of us, Ocala at 78, 80 in Leesburg and Claremont, and 82 degrees in Cocoa Beach, 80 in Melbourne. Daytime planner, we stay dry through the morning, partly cloudy skies, lower 90s by 1, staying in the lower 90s all day with a 40% chance for rain, but feeling like the triple digits. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Florida Turnpike this morning, if you're just checking in with us, super slow between 429 down to I-4, about a 4-mile backup because of a vehicle fire. DOT camp 2 miles south of what I was just showing you. So slow. So please increase the following distance so we don't have a crash. Heads up. Winter Garden and Coe, you are affected by this along 429 I-4. Looking good this morning. 33